Hey everyone, this is Mr. Mayor, and in this video we're going to go ahead and discuss and introduce the project for Unit 5. We're going to do a real-world application project in which we are going to create a floor plan. So if we scroll down underneath the introduction, we've got an area, review, and application. Make sure you go through these step by step and you get a really good review of how to find and calculate area. There's applications in there involving costs as well. After that, we move right into the project. And you got a little introduction for yourself here. Under the tab that says RFP and task, this is where all of the information, all the requirements lie. RFP stands for Request for Proposal. This is actually what a proposal looks like for when a company wants to get a contract in order to complete a building project. So as I scroll down here, I want to point some things out that are very important to you. First of all, what we're going to go ahead and do is I want to make sure we see all the important information. So we see that we're going to build a parking structure for the adjacent office building. The dimensions of the approved lot is 80 feet by 110 feet. So this is how large your lot is allowed to be. Your structure cannot be bigger than this. The structure must hold at least 150 vehicles to 250 vehicles. It's above ground. The size of the parking spots. This is some of the most important information. The size of the regular parking spots must be 8 feet wide by 15 feet long. The size of the handicap spots, they have to be 8 feet wide, but they have an additional 2 feet on each side. And then they are also 15 feet long. And again, there needs to be 2 handicap spots on each level. Your driving lane, you need a space to drive the cars to get into the spots. Driving lane needs to be 15 feet wide. So this is the really important information. These are the dimensions that you always want to follow here. Next thing I want to do is bring up questions that you are going to be answering in this project. So if I scroll underneath, this is the same tab right underneath this. You can see you can actually print this information, print the RFP. You can also print the template of questions that you are going to have to answer. Print it, download it, whatever you want to do, and just in case that you don't have internet access and want to work on this outside of where you can access the internet. The template is going to have all of the questions that you have to answer. So there's some design questions, there is some mathematical application questions, and then there are overall building concerns. Now, to kind of get you a little bit more comfortable with this project, I did do a sample project. It's in examples for you. So if you click your examples tab, then you're going to see your sample proposal in here. The only difference with the sample proposal is that the dimensions were changed. So instead of the dimensions that I had given you, that it was 80 feet by 110 feet, the sample proposal is going to be 90 feet by 100 feet. Okay, so it's a little bit different. Dimensions are different, but the process is still going to be the same. Also, I needed to fit 300 to 400 vehicles. So to get started with the project, I highly recommend go ahead and make some sketches for yourself. Sketch out what you think your parking structure is going to look like, what each floor is going to look like. You can make them all look the same, or you can make them look different. However, just make sure you realize step number 5 is to label everything in your diagram and attach your diagram to your proposal. If you want to do all this by hand, you are welcome to do that and write it all out and draw it on a piece of paper. That's fine. If you want to use a drawing program, you can use Paint, you can use anything that you want, and then attach that file to your final answer, you can do that as well. Making sure that you are labeling all of the dimensions. That's the first thing you want to start with. Label the dimensions. Mine was 90 by 100 feet. Yours is 80 by 110. Now, it can be smaller than that, but it cannot exceed those values. So from here, the best way to get started is you want to keep in mind your spaces for all of your cars need to be 8 feet wide by 15 feet long. So always keeping that in mind so that you understand how many spaces you can fit on each level. Don't just decide I want to fit four 400 spaces on one level, and then you don't have enough room, and it ends up being very tiny cars that would fit in the spaces. So you want to make sure that you are using all of your mathematical reasoning to be able to fit all of the cars. Notice I'm coming up with fake names for the streets. Be as creative as you'd like. If you want to do this in different colors, you are welcome to do so as well. Always make sure you've got driving lanes. That's what these arrows mean. Cars can go both ways. And you got entrances and exits so that cars can get into your parking structure. And again, since it's a parking garage, it's a parking structure, you're going to be moving up levels. That's why I have the word incline up here, so that you know that, oh, as I go up this level, there's a little ramp moving up, a ramp moving up, a ramp moving up, and then this side is flat. Okay, so once you've got your diagram finished, then you can start answering your questions. I went ahead and counted that there were 33 cars on each of my levels. So how many levels would I need? I would need 12 levels in order to get to the range between 300 and 400 cars per level. So on mine specifically, I would get 363, and that's by multiplying the 12 and the 33. You can work through all of this. The sample is there for you at all times. So please make sure you are using it and you are understanding how to answer the questions. Your rubric is attached as well back on the main page. So make sure that you are using your rubric and you are accessing that and making sure to answer all of the questions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck on your project. I know you're going to do a great job.